From the depths of the Ice Age to the brink of nuclear war, our journey on this planet has been fraught with peril. Throughout history, humanity has faced numerous threats that could have ended our existence. Today, we explore 4 chilling cases where we came perilously close to extinction. Join us as we delve into the shadows of the past, uncovering the events that almost extinguished the light of humankind. Imagine a world shrouded in darkness, a perpetual winter gripping the Earth. This wasn't the result of some mythical force, but rather the chilling aftermath of a supervolcanic eruption, an event so cataclysmic that it nearly wiped our species from the face of the planet. This is the story of the Toba eruption, a tempestuous giant that slumbered beneath the Indonesian island of Sumatra 74,000 years ago. When Toba awoke, it did so with a fury unlike anything humanity had ever witnessed. The earth buckled and heaved as molten rock surged from the depths, spewing forth a towering column of ash and debris that blotted out the sun. Thousands of cubic kilometers of volcanic material were ejected into the atmosphere, enshrouding the planet in a thick veil of sulfuric acid aerosols. The immediate impact was devastating. Pyroclastic flows, rivers of superheated gas and ash, raced across the landscape at speeds exceeding 500 miles per hour, incinerating everything in their path. The air grew thick with noxious fumes, suffocating those unfortunate souls who had survived the initial blast. As the ash cloud spread across the globe, it ushered in a volcanic winter that would last for years. Temperatures plummeted, plunging the planet into an extended period of cold and darkness. Plants withered and died, unable to photosynthesize. Food chains collapsed, leading to widespread famine. Genetic evidence suggests that the human population, already scattered and vulnerable, was decimated by the Toba eruption. Some scientists believe that as few as 1,000 breeding pairs may have survived, clinging to life in isolated pockets around the globe. The Toba event serves as a stark reminder of the awesome power of nature and the precariousness of our existence. It's a testament to the resilience of life that our ancestors were able to endure such a catastrophic event, emerging from the ashes to rebuild their world. But the scars of Toba run deep, a cautionary tale etched in our genes, reminding us that we are but tenants on this planet, subject to the whims of forces far greater than ourselves. The year was 1962. The world watched with bated breath as 2 superpowers armed with nuclear arsenals capable of unimaginable destruction stood poised on the brink of war. This was the Cuban Missile Crisis. 13 days of agonizing tension that brought humanity closer to annihilation than ever before. At the heart of the crisis lay a seemingly simple equation. Soviet nuclear missiles, stationed on the island of Cuba, just 90 miles off the coast of Florida, posed an unacceptable threat to the United States. The Kennedy administration, determined to remove the missiles, implemented a naval blockade around Cuba, vowing to prevent any further Soviet shipments from reaching the island. The world held its breath. The threat of nuclear war, once a distant nightmare, had become a terrifying reality. In the claustrophobic confines of the Oval Office, President Kennedy and his advisors engaged in a high-stakes game of chess, each move carrying the weight of millions of lives. The Soviet Union, led by the enigmatic Nikita Khrushchev, denounced the American blockade as an act of aggression. Soviet ships laden with nuclear warheads steamed towards Cuba, seemingly undeterred by the American naval cordon. The world watched in horror as the 2 superpowers edged closer to the precipice. Behind the scenes, a frantic diplomatic dance was underway. Secret back channels were opened, messages exchanged, and compromises sought. The weight of the world rested on the shoulders of these men, their every word, every decision, scrutinized and analyzed for any glimmer of hope. On October 27th, a U.S. reconnaissance plane was shot down over Cuba, killing the pilot. The world braced itself for the worst. Had the unthinkable happened? Had the shooting down of the American plane triggered the domino effect that would lead to nuclear Armageddon? In the end, cooler heads prevailed. A tense agreement was reached. The Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba, while the United States pledged not to invade the island. The Cuban Missile Crisis stands as a chilling reminder of the fragility of peace and the ever-present danger of nuclear war. Chapter 3. The Black Death, a scourge upon the land. The year is 1347. A shadow falls across Europe, a creeping terror that will come to be known as the Black Death. Carried by fleas on the backs of rats, the bubonic plague, a relentless killer, spreads like wildfire through towns and cities, leaving a trail of unimaginable suffering in its wake. Imagine, if you will, the horror of a world gripped by an invisible enemy, an unseen force that strikes without warning, leaving its victims to die in agony. The Black Death, a bacterial infection, ravaged Europe with terrifying speed, its symptoms as gruesome as they were swift. Swollen lymph nodes, grotesquely enlarged and throbbing with pain, appeared on the necks, armpits, and groins of the afflicted. These buboes, from which the plague derives its name, were just the beginning. High fever, chills, and vomiting soon followed, accompanied by excruciating headaches and muscle aches. But the true horror lay in the final stages. As the disease progressed, the buboes turned a sickening black, oozing pus and blood. Victims experienced delirium, seizures, and ultimately, merciful death. The stench of decay permeated the air, a constant reminder of the plague's insatiable appetite. Medieval medicine, ill-equipped to deal with such a virulent disease, offered little in the way of effective treatment. Desperate attempts at cures, ranging from bloodletting to the application of leeches, often proved more harmful than helpful. The plague spread unchecked, decimating entire communities. The social and economic impact of the Black Death was profound. With so many dead, fields lay fallow, trade ground to a halt, and the very fabric of society began to unravel. Fear and suspicion ran rampant, as people turned on each other, blaming foreigners, minorities, and even the divine for the pestilence that had befallen them. Yet amidst the darkness, there were glimmers of hope. Some individuals, seemingly immune to the plague, risked their lives to care for the sick and dying. Doctors, clergy, and ordinary citizens alike, driven by compassion or perhaps a sense of duty, confronted the horrors head-on. Slowly, painfully, Europe began to recover. The plague, though it would reappear in various forms over the centuries, never again reached the apocalyptic levels of the mid-14th century. The Black Death, for all its horrors, ultimately served as a catalyst for change, paving the way for new social structures and economic opportunities. Chapter 4, 1983. The day we almost ended it all. The date is etched in the annals of Cold War history. September 26, 1983. Deep within the bowels of a Soviet early warning bunker, a chilling alert flashed across the screen, shattering the tense silence. 5 American nuclear missiles were en route to Soviet territory. The unthinkable had happened. Or had it? This is the story of Stanislav Petrov, the man who saved the world from nuclear annihilation. As the alarm blared, sending shockwaves through the bunker, Petrov, a lieutenant colonel in the Soviet Air Defense Forces, found himself at the epicenter of a nightmare. His orders were clear: verify the launch and relay the information up the chain of command, potentially triggering a retaliatory strike. Time seemed to stand still as Petrov, his mind racing, struggled to process the information flooding his console. The fate of the world, it seemed, rested on his shoulders. Every instinct, every fiber of his being screamed at him to follow protocol, to sound the alarm that would unleash a nuclear holocaust. But something, call it intuition, or perhaps a healthy dose of skepticism, gave Petrov pause. The number of missiles detected, a mere 5, seemed implausible for a first strike. The United States, he reasoned, would unleash its entire arsenal, not a paltry handful of warheads. Petrov made a decision that defied logic, a decision that flew in the face of his training and potentially cost him his career, if not his life. He dismissed the alert as a false alarm, a malfunction in the system. His gut told him that this was not the day the world ended. Minutes turned into an eternity as Petrov waited, his heart pounding in his chest, for confirmation that he had made the right call. The world held its breath, oblivious to the drama unfolding in that dimly lit bunker. And then, blessed silence. No retaliatory strike, no mushroom clouds. The world had dodged a bullet, a nuclear bullet, thanks to the courage and clear thinking of one man. In the aftermath, the Soviet investigation revealed that the false alarm had been triggered by a rare alignment of sunlight reflecting off high-altitude clouds, fooling the early warning system into believing it was detecting incoming missiles. A chilling reminder of the fragility of peace in the nuclear age. Petrov's story, a testament to the importance of human judgment in the face of seemingly insurmountable odds, remained largely unknown outside of military circles for years. As we've journeyed through these harrowing tales of near extinction, We're reminded of the fragility of our existence and the countless unseen forces that shape our destiny. These events remind us of our vulnerability and the importance of vigilance in the face of existential threats. Let these stories serve as a call to action, a reminder that the future of our species rests on our ability to learn from the past and to face the challenges of the future with wisdom, courage, and an unwavering commitment to safeguarding our planet and each other.